Good morning, everyone. Today we're continuing on in the Prog Magic Starter Pokemon with new type series with Alola. Let's hop in and say Alola to the new starters.
What if starter Pokemon weren't grass, fire, and water type? We've ventured through the first 6 generations of Pokemon to answer this question.
That's
so
right.
let's answer it again with the Gen 7 starters. Hey everyone,
Alola!
Brandon here. Alola brought some major changes to the Pokemon franchise, like the lack of a gym challenge, regional forms, and even interdimensional travel. So
That's
it
right.
isn't too far-fetched to say that maybe there's another dimension just like ours where they changed the starter type trio as well. So
I
in this
never know.
alternate dimension, instead of the grass type starter, we have Drowlet. This little guy is known as the
Aw,
Frost Feather Pokemon,
ice.
and as such is an ice flying type. I worked with Fungousmon to create Drowlet and the rest of the starter Pokemon in this video, so definitely make sure to check out their link in the description. Rather than a barn owl, Drowlet is based on the snowy or Arctic owl. While these aren't exactly found in Hawaii,
okay.
neither are koalas, orangutans, or red pandas, so I think we can let this one slide. Speaking of sliding,
Yeah.
Drowlet practices ice skating around on their talons. They're quite seclusive, preferring to stay hidden amongst the caves and snowstorms of Mount Latakila, away from the judgmental eyes of other Pokemon as they are insecure of their skills.
So
their ability
cute.
would have to be a new one as there isn't an Ice-type version of Overgrow, so it would have to be Whiteouts, which raises the power of Ice-type moves when Drowlet's HP is low. And you can raise the power of this video by hitting that like button, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below. At level 17, Drowlet evolves into Hartrix. Its category now becomes the Blade Talon Pokemon, which obviously comes from its blade-like talons that reflect
Oh,
ice
look at
skates.
that.
These talons give Hartrix more control while skating around. As such, its skill and confidence have improved while on the ice. Now it's even able
So this one is more based around like a professional skater.
to perform elaborate stunts or tricks,
Yep, ice
turning its
skater.
name into a
Duh.
double entendre. Silly kids, tricks are for owls. You can definitely see the confidence growing in this Pokemon, having more elegant feathers and fabulous hair-like plumage atop its head, all the while giving us a shy smile.
Fabulous.
And that's where its name comes from. This Pokemon has heart, a newfound courage and enthusiasm to show off its skating. It also comes from the heart of a storm, or more specifically, a snowstorm, the middle point of a storm where it's not raging as hard, a moment of respite. Much like this Pokemon is the middle
Oh, like the
stage and is a
calm.
calmer, less
Okay.
nervous Pokemon than its previous stage, Drowlet. The original Rowlet line has a signature hidden ability called Long Reach, which could work fine as a hidden ability for this line as well, but this is an alternate universe we're talking about here. So let's have some fun with it and make a new ability which I call Short Lift. This makes opponent's stat boost last only 2 turns while this Pokemon is on the field instead of being permanent. This would proc the
Oh,
second
now
this
that's
Pokemon
good.
enters the battle, so the opponent would basically have 1 turn to get it off the field or risk losing their stat buffs. The ability's name comes from the figure skating term, which means a series of dance lifts that may last up to 6 seconds. You know what else takes 6 seconds? Moving your mouse down to hit that join button and becoming a member. Membership to this channel helps me support the artists I work with for these videos, as well as
Support
getting
us all,
benefits like seeing
everyone.
videos before anyone else, a shout out at the end of my videos, or even helping directly fund 1 fake mon a month that you're accredited for. So hit that join button and help me continue making awesome content just like this. At level 34, Hartrix evolves into Refrigerai. Upon evolution,
Ooh.
it has become the
Oh, it's an ice fairy type now.
Ice Talon Pokemon and becomes an Ice Fairy type. I wanted to keep the type changing at the final stage that the original line has, and this Pokemon is just glamorous as heck. Or should I say peck? Either way, the fairy type fits. In its design, you can see elements of the luxurious and sparkly
Pecking gorgeous.
ensembles worn by many figure skaters. Refrigerai glides across the Lanakila Mountains. Whether by wing or talon, it always looks elegant and graceful as it moves, looking like some kind of
Okay, this actually looks like it'd be the Pokemon I would introduce to move Ice Spin instead of Quaxolotl or whatever it was called.
glimmering star in the snow and ice, a beacon for the strong to come
The
here
Duck
and for the
Star.
weak to stay out. They act as an inspiration and guide for Drowlet and Hartrix who are still learning how to skate. With that said, the
Aw,
family gods or
so
spirits
cute.
Decidueye is based on, the Aumakua, still fit as an inspiration for this Pokemon, as they were known to watch over their descendants, instilling strength and guidance when needed. There's also the Hawaiian god known as Paupueo, an owl god which
Oh,
would send
wow.
his messenger owls to chase out the Menehune, a race of dwarf-like people if they were getting too uncontrollable, as they were afraid of owls. Its category comes from the enormous ice talons
guess that would
Refrigerai
make
now
sense.
possesses, which are the basis of its new signature move, Cryo Blade, in which this Pokemon uses its icy talons to do a low sweep, creating ice underneath their opponent so they slip and are knocked prone for a turn, making them unable to attack or
Ah.
switch out during that time. This move has less of a chance of working each subsequent time it is used, like Protect, so people wouldn't be able to just spam it. This move refers to to hydroblading, where the skater glides on a deep edge, making their body very low to the ice, making themselves almost horizontal. It would
Okay,
also
so
most
that's what
definitely
it
learn
is.
triple axel. With the Rowlet line being my absolute favorite starter line, I have to say I really
Oh,
love how the
10,000%
Rowlet line
agree.
turned out. Okay, so what possessed me to take a ghostly archer owl and turn it into a frosty skating owl? Well, that comes down to the group theme I gave the final stages of this video. The original trio had a theme of circus acts, with the Decidueye line being based on the Ringmaster and Sharpshooter acts, Incineroar being Strongman
Really
and
now?
Big Cat acts, and Primarina being clown, singing, and sea lion acts. But what I managed to
Ah,
boil
okay.
those themes down to are acts heavily focused on precision or accuracy, strength, and endurance. You have to be accurate to be an archer, strong to be, well, a strong man,
Strong,
and you have to have
duh.
incredible vocal endurance to be an opera singer. You know what else those are prime elements of? Olympic sports. So with Refrigeri, it is based on another act of precision or accuracy, figure
Ice
skating.
skating. Oh,
How
figure
precisely
skating.
you
Whoops.
land a spin or how accurately you present your routine determines how high you score. You could also say this line is based on gymnastics, because, let's be real, figure skating is basically a gymnast floor routine on ice. While
Yeah,
precision is the
pretty much
main
is.
focus of figure
Pretty
skating,
much.
you also need to have a bit of strength and good physical endurance to make it through a routine, especially in the case of pair figure skating. Going forward, you'll find that the other lines themes have a splash of each category too. So let's move on to those other lines with our ground type starter, Grinton. This pure ground type kitten is designated as the Sand Cat Pokemon, which is exactly the
Okay, I'm gonna guess this one is based around the long jump act, whatever that is.
inspiration behind Grinton, the Sand
Maybe
Cat.
it is called the
This
long
little
jump.
feline is one of the smallest wild cats in the world, pretty much always looking like a kitten even when fully matured, and looks super grumpy just like Grinton does. The vast
So
Pony
cute.
Canyon is where you can find Grinton running about with that signature angry look on its face. It is often seen grooming its muddy fur, building up a ball of hairy mud in its stomach that it will later launch at opponents.
Oh,
which
that's
just
gross.
can't be a pleasant experience to be on the receiving end of. Despite its grumpy appearance, Grinton are actually quite friendly and like to be pet. But make sure that they've groomed themselves first or you're in for some dusty hands. Rather than Blaze, Grinton would have the ability Quake, which powers up ground type moves if its HP is low. It can
Good.
also keep Intimidate as its hidden ability, as it does really fit this line, or Guts could work as well. At level 17, Grinton evolves into Terracat. Such a simple
Ooh,
name change that makes all the
Terracat.
difference. Beautiful. Terracat are much more fierce than Grinton. They take their physical strength very seriously and will practice smashing boulders with their head, tail, paws, and really just any part of their body they can use to attack. Bro's
Wow.
going for that 100% muscle mass. You feel
Holy
me?
damn.
Upon evolution, Terracat adds in the inspiration of the Bengal tiger, which has a much lighter
Ooh,
and shorter
classic.
coat than other subspecies of tiger, and can handle living in the more sandy or rocky areas of India. At level 34,
Gotta love a
Terracat
tiger.
evolves into Contenderoar. This mighty fighter
Oh, it's based around boxing. That's right, because Incineroar was based around wrestling.
is now the
Duh.
ground fighting type and is known as the hero Pokemon. Contenderoar use their hardened fist
Oh, Hero, I heard that because Incineroar was the heal Pokemon.
to deliver earth-shattering blows. This Pokemon is colloquially known as the Oko Tiger, because it knocks most opponents out with one hit. This is actually its new signature move to replace Darkest Lariat, called Knockout Punch. Rather than being a one-hit KO move, it is a base 80 physical fighting type move with the chance to put the opponent to sleep. A different kind of knockout, with a common exclamation in
Level.
most combat sports being, "They put that dude to sleep!" which I felt was more fitting and less RNGE for a signature move. This
I
line
like
is based
it.
on Olympic boxing, keeping it more strength-based and in a ring like the heel wrestler that Incineroar is. Speaking of heel, Contenderoar is instead a hero, the Rocky-like character that we all root for to win, with its fist held high in victory. While we're
He's
talking
the
about its
Rocky
fists,
Balboa.
Incineroar had these big old paws, so we made them slightly bigger and rounded to make them feel like boxing gloves, and the stripes coming out of them look like the wraps put underneath said gloves. Instead of a fire, its tail is its belt instead, which comes together with the fur above its knees to look like boxing shorts, while also being an
Nice.
allusion to people with longer hair tying or braiding it to get it out of their way while fighting. It also looks like how Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z would have their tails if they were from the planet Vegeta. I can't
Oh,
not
yeah.
reference anime. It's a sickness, really. Weeabooenza. I'm pretty sure they're developing a vaccine
Weeabooenza.
in Japan, so I have to go there. In boxing, precision of punches are definitely also important, as well as endurance, but a bit less so if you're able to get
It's
some
all
solid
about
punches
strength.
in, so it doesn't go more than a couple rounds.
Well,
Last
mostly
but not least,
strength.
we have our rock starter, Rockleo. This little diver is known as the Rock Lion Pokemon, and as such is a pure rock type. Rockleo can be found swimming through the lava of the Wela volcano, able to
Damn.
endure the searing heat with ease. It treats the volcano like its own personal pool, in which it races back and forth from end to end faster and faster. Its tail can spin in place, acting like a propeller to increase its speed even
Wait,
more.
how
its
is it
darker,
spinning?
sleeker appearance is inspired by the California sea lion, which are typically darker brown in color and look very slick when fresh out of the water. It is also based on obsidian, a type of igneous or magmatic rock, rock, which ties in well given Rockleo's volcanic habitat.
I mean, obsidian is like the volcanic rock.
Instead of Torrent, Rockleo would have Geostatic, which raises the power of rock-type moves if its HP is low. At level 17, Rockleo evolves into Steone. This wheelie seal is categorized as the round stone Pokemon. Steone is much more terrestrial than Rockleo, opting to race down the mountainous cliffs of Wela Volcano on the wheels it carves from the rocks found in the area. This is how it prefers to travel about, as otherwise it moves quite slow without its wheels. And this Pokemon has gotta go fast. Its name comes from stone and lion, but is also based on Orestiads or Oreads, a special kind of nymph in Greek mythology that were associated with mountains. There is even a mountainous city in Greece called Orestiada, which gets its name from them. Steone's wheels and coloration are based on two different kinds of sedimentary rock, coal and banded ironstone. With coal typically being used to make fires and ironstone having these dark red stripes, it made for the perfect transition from its fiery swimming previous stage. The Popplio line is another one with a signature hidden ability, Liquid Voice. So we would have to change that with this line as they very much aren't singers. So instead, we could give them Heat Proof or Flash Fire to reference its heat resistance, or we could give it the new ability, Heat Compaction, which sharply raises this Pokemon's special defense if hit by a fire-type move, referencing how igneous and sedimentary rocks with heat and pressure become metamorphic rocks. Speaking of, at level 34, Steone evolves into Pregalina. This prancing pinniped is called the Triathlete Pokemon and is a rock dark.
Oh, Triathlete. Duh, that makes sense. The first stage was swimming, the second stage was bike riding, the third stage is running. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Despite the fact that it ain't got no legs.
Archetype. Though it may not seem physically possible, Pregalina is just as fast on land as it is in lava or water. It moves at incredible speeds, using its tail to propel itself forward like a motorboat. Or a motor rock, if you will, because it's not just a boulder.
It's a rock.
This would be Pregalina's signature move to replace Sparkling Aria, called Boulder Dash, where this Pokemon sprints across the field in a backwards Z-like motion, trampling every Pokemon in battle. The heat ignited by its swift movement has a chance to burn those hit by the move. As I alluded to, this Pokemon represents metamorphic rocks, completing this line's journey through the rock cycle. Speaking of cycles, you can see the wheels of Steone's rock cycle have moved up to the visor, where you can see rubies encrusting it, which are a form of metamorphic rock, and also where it gets its dark typing, as metamorphic rocks form in the deep dark parts of the earth, as well as having a generally darker coloration. Pregalina's name comes from galena, a type of lead or mineral found within metamorphic rocks, and prix, which in French means prize. Put those two parts of the name together and it acts as a reference to the medals Olympians win. While we're on that topic, I kinda gave it away with its category, but Pregalina and the entire line is based on an Olympic triathlon, with Rockleo being the starting swimming portion, Steone being the middle biking portion, and Pregalina being the last sprint to the finish. Endurance is most definitely the name of the game when it comes to this three-part sport, but you also need to have the strength to swim, bike, and run, and be precise with your movements to not unnecessarily expend energy. Tying in the three types of rocks majorly seen in the rock cycle with the three sections of this race felt so natural to me, and having the line end with a super rare mineral and metallic ore to allude to a final victory for this Pokemon tied in so well. Trying to take a swimming Pokemon and turn it into a running Pokemon and have it look natural was definitely a tough job though, so thanks again to Foongus for making it look fantastic. And a big thank you to our incredible members whose names you can see on screen for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.